Cameron.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The first issue that the Prime Minister and I are going to have to work together on is getting the good bits of his education reforms through the House of Commons and into law. That's the problem with these exchanges. The chief whip on the Labour side shouting like a child. Now, has she finished? Have you finished? Right. We both agree that schools with greater freedom produce the best results. Will he confirm that all of the freedoms for schools in the White Paper will survive into the bill?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. It is important that we give schools the freedoms that they need, and I'm delighted to hear that he supports these reforms. I assume, therefore, the Conservative Party will be voting for them.
Absolutely. With our support, with our support, the Prime Minister knows there is no danger of losing these education reforms in a parliamentary vote. So he can afford to be as bold as he wants to be. That's when he's at his best. Now, or so I'm told. Now, can we agree that that means trust schools, owning their own buildings and land, employing their own staff, setting pay locally, developing their own culture and ethos, and controlling their own admissions?
Of course, it means all those powers that presently are available to foundation and voluntary aided schools being extended to other schools as well. That's the purpose of the proposals. Incidentally, I should have, before I answered any question, welcomed him to his new position and congratulated him on winning the Conservative leadership election. But can I tell him where I feel we may, and I'm sorry to say this, have a disagreement? And that is, as I understand it, his position, though, is to say that all schools should be free to set their own admissions procedures. I'm afraid I believe the present admissions code should remain in place. So perhaps we could just clear up that too.
I want schools to control their own admissions. That's what's in the White Paper, and let's see it turns into the bill. Now, it's only our first exchange, and already the Prime Minister is asking me the questions. This approach is stuck in the past, and I want to talk about the future. He was the future once. Education is one of the public services in desperate need of reform. So will he agree with me that our aim should be to make sure that all schools have these freedoms? Will the Prime Minister ensure that this is one reform where he won't look back and wish he had gone further?
Well, I certainly can say, as I said before, that it's important that all schools get these freedoms. However, it is obvious that we disagree on the issue of admissions. I think that if schools are free to bring back selection at the age of 11, that would be regressive for our country. And so I'm afraid in this grand new consensus we have to disagree on that point. The other point, though, that I think is very important is this. We've also got to keep the investment going in our schools. Now, as he knows, the Conservative Party voted against that investment. But I have to say it's that as a result of the investment and the change through specialist schools and city academies and the literacy and numeracy strategy, we've now got the best ever results at 11, at 16, at 18 in our schools. And therefore I have to say to him that it's not merely in respect of education policy we've got to agree, we've also got to agree that the investment that is so necessary to back up that reform continues. And I'm afraid his economic policy, which is actually to cut back investment because of his desire. Yes. Well, I'm happy if this is another policy he's about to change. But he is saying that this year he would not have put all the investment in, but rather have shared that investment half and half between tax cuts and investment. As a result of that, that would mean substantial cuts in public investment. And therefore, I'm very happy to have this new consensus with him, and I'm delighted that today he said the Conservative Party will vote for these education reforms, but it has to be on the basis, I'm afraid, of agreeing the investment also.
Sadiq Khan.